Hello guys, welcome to the course of Level 8 API Development Tutorial. This is part 5. Inside this video, we will see the concept of migration and its very basic commands. So if I back to project setup, in the last video, we had seen our first program inside Laravel. Inside that video, we had created a controller, a simple route and a view file. Also, we had seen a concept, something called PHP Artisan. So PHP Artisan inside Laravel is a command line tool or say command line interface which interacts with Laravel application. So if I back to terminal, if I type the command called PHP Artisan, now as we can see that we are getting a command palette. Each command of this command palette is for us for some specific task. In the last video, as we had seen that by the help of this make controller, we have completed the task of creating a new controller class. So each command of this PHP Artisan is created to complete any single specific task. Now, from this command palette, this time we will see the concept of migration. So we will use a command from this make command palette, something called make migration. And here is the command. The description is something, create a new migration file. So before starting this migration, first of all, we need to understand that what is a migration file. So migration file is a file which is going to provide a table structure. It means inside this file we will define the structure, something let's say for the users table. If we want some columns like name, email, phone number, so we will specify the name of columns as well as the data type. Optionally, we can pass the size as well. So these are the things, means the structure related, these are the things we will define inside migration files. So let's get started all about creating migration file. So firstly, when we create any migration file, it will go and store inside this database and migrations folder. By default, when we install a Laravel setup, these three migration files we will get inside this setup. So when we open any of the migration file, as we can see that it's a class, and inside this class we have two methods called up method and down method. Up method is going to provide the schema, or we can say the architecture of table, and the down method is going to simply drop that table from the database. When we migrate our migration into the database, the migrate command behind the scene use this up method. But when we run rollback command means dropping a table, so behind the scene down method will work. So let's create a migration file. Inside that migration file, we will define a table structure, add few columns and migrate into database. So if I open, let's say editor, something called gedit, inside this, what I will do, we will create a students table. Inside this students table, we will have the column called name, email, let's say age, and something let's say phone underscore number. So these are the columns, and one more thing, let's say gender. So these are the columns we are going to define inside students migration. So back to terminal. First of all, we will define a migration file. So PHP Artisan, let's say make migration, and we will create, let's say create underscore students underscore table, or simply we will call it as something like this, create students table. Now if I press enter, as we can see that migration created. Back to folder structure, go and reload, and here we can get the migration file for our students table. So by default it provides the ID column and two timestamp values like created at and updated at. So what we want, we want few columns, let's say for the name, so table, and for the name we need to store the name value into a varchar field, so it will be of string type. So we need the columns as name. So inside this string, let's pass the name column, this is the column name, and optionally we can pass the length of the field. So this is 120 characters. Next we need for the email address, so if I copy, pasting it here, email field, let's say it is of 80 characters in length. In the next we want age, so table, age should be the integer value, so integer age, and this is unsigned. Now next we want phone number, so phone number is also the string value, but in this case it is of 20 characters in length. And finally we want a gender column, so here instead of a string let's pass enum, and here inside this enum, as we can see that the IntelliSense says that the first we need to pass the column name, so let's say gender is the column name. Next we have an array. Inside this array we need to pass all available options, so inside gender we want something male, female. Now if we save all these changes, now next if we want to migrate this migration file into our database what we had created inside last video, this is the database we have configured. Back to terminal, php artisan, and type migrate. This command is going to run all the pending migrations and migrate into our database. So if I press enter, as we can see that create users migrated, and here we have some error, that is column already exists, duplicate column name called email. So I think that inside our students migration we had actually written 2 times email address. So here is the email first and email, actually this is phone number. So again if I clear this console, run one more time php artisan migrate, and before that what I will do, simply check all the tables from DB, go inside here, or let's say drop, I will drop all the tables, no tables exist, and run this command. So users table created, password resets, failed jobs, and finally the table what we had created called students. Back to browser, reload this structure, and here we can see that we have a students table. Go inside this structure, here are the columns called name, email, age, phone number, and gender. Look at the data type called varchar, 120 characters in length, 80, phone number, enumerator with our possible values, and by default 3 columns added called ID, created at, and updated at. Now if we want to drop all the tables what we had run, simply go here and type the command called php artisan migrate colon and pass a flag called rollback. Behind the scene, when we had run this command, it has actually executed the up method of every migration file. But when we execute this command php artisan migrate rollback, it will go and find the last migrated files and run the down method. So when we run this command, it will search for the latest migration what we had done. So these all migrations what we have migrated, so it will go inside each of the migration file and run the down method. And inside down method we have the command to drop the table. So if we go and pressing enter, as we can see that it has rolled back all the tables. Go and reload this structure, and as we can see that we don't have any table. Now again, if we want to migrate all the tables, again we need to run the same command called php artisan migrate. Is there any command to migrate Or let's say, is there any command to roll back first and migrate? Yes, we have. We have the same command. Let's say that if we run this migrate command, it has migrated all the tables inside database. If we go and see here, we have all the tables. In some cases, first we want to drop all the tables, and in the next we want to create all the tables. We want to execute two different commands but inside a single line. So simply type php artisan migrate, and here we'll type call refresh. If I press enter, as we can see that first it has rolled back all the tables, and in the second stage it has migrated all the tables. So this is all about, guys, migration, which has provided the table schema for the database. And as we know that the tables are the storage area where you put all data. So in the next video we will discuss the concept of seeders. By the help of seeders, we put our dummy data or fake data for the purpose of testing. So for this video session, guys, thank you for watching and have a great day.